Hey everyone, this is Kieran from Eccentric Physio. Today's exercise is continuing our arm spirals into standing, and it just makes them a little bit more advanced and need a little more coordination and maybe a little more feedback on sort of what you're doing. But it's that progression of synchronizing our glenohumeral, our shoulder joint with our shoulder blade, and improving your flexibility into behind the back and overhead positions. So we're not going to go over all the details of why we're doing this because that's in our previous video of arm spirals. And so if you're not sure what they are, then go back and check that video out. It's probably a good place to start anyway. But we're going to go over a couple sort of key points now, but the real crux of it, go back to our previous video. So the key points here are that when I elevate my shoulder blade or lift it up, and protract it, so push it forward, those two things together, that's coupled with internal rotation, my thumb going down of my glenohumeral joint, this ball and socket joint. The other way, retraction, going backwards, and then going down of depression, those two things are coupled with external rotation, or my thumb going up. So we can get those synchronizing together. And so what can happen sometimes when people struggle to get overhead, they actually have sort of got them doing the opposite. So for example, if I depress my shoulder blade and then try and internally rotate my arm, it's going to be hard to come up. And we need that shoulder blade to elevate and upwardly rotate and protract around that rib cage, okay? So if I'm going to be going backwards, same thing. If I elevate my shoulder blade like this and try my arm back, it's harder to do that. And so we see a lot of strategies, particularly with certain types of rotator cuff tears or the degree of it, along with other types of shoulder pain, is we'll see strategies happen with the shoulder blade that end up creating a situation where they get kind of locked in a position, and it can then limit the glenohumeral range once everything is healed. What was once a protective strategy is now a limiting strategy. So we need to start with coordinating those movements. Now doing it in sideline in our other exercise video is a great way to bring some awareness and some feedback with a weight coming into the joints. Because when we're up here, we need a lot more awareness of where we are in space. So it can be kind of hard to learn here because there's less feedback. So if you're doing this and you feel like you're ready for this version, the other one's too easy, get a mirror in front of you so that you can see what's happening. So as I turn my thumb up to the sky, I want to depress and pull my shoulder blade back. With this left hand, as I turn my thumb down, I want to elevate, lift my shoulder blade up to the sky, and then kind of hunch forward this way. And so it ends up looking a bit like this. So my chest almost turns a little bit. Now if I do the opposite, so if I turn my right thumb down and my left thumb up, my shoulder blades are going to come along for the ride, okay? You might find that as you start doing this, some of that coordination is a bit tricky. You might find that like, oh, you go for, this, and that shoulder blade doesn't come up, it stays down. And all of a sudden you've got less movement, less internal rotation until I lift that shoulder blade up and it gives me that extra bit of range. If it's tricky to do both at once, then do one at a time. And 90 degrees is a nice place to do it because of the length tension of everything, and it's just a little bit easier to learn versus trying to do it up in these areas where that rotation isn't as sort of coupled or as important. So play around with that, get those opposites going. If thumb's going down, shoulder blades coming up and protracting. If thumb's going up to the sky, shoulder blades depressing and retracting. I'm feeling some tension in through here and in the back. And then as I come in this way, I'm feeling some tension in through this area here as I help that shoulder blade come around. And you're going to find maybe that afterwards, it's a bit easier to get up into these positions and a bit easier to get up into these positions here, okay? So a nice simple exercise just to get some sort of feedback and get some coordination back into your shoulder blade and your shoulder joint working together, and do have a test afterwards and see if things have improved. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here And to check out our latest video, click up here.